Hello, it's Jay here again and welcome to another tutorial. So in this lesson we're going to continue setting up the scene and we're going to pick up right where we left off in the previous video. So in the previous video we created rows and we've got cubes in place, all with the tag of position. And these are going to act as our reference points. So first I'm going to create just an empty game object. And I'm just going to call this eye level because we're using Roman numerals for the height. And what I'm going to do is select all those rows we created and we're going to drag them on to level. Let me just reset the position to begin with. And now we've got them all under one game object. Now, as I say, we do have a tag assigned to all the cubes within the rows. The tag is position. And of course, just like our reference here, here, and here, we need those not to render when we start the game. So let's open up the deactivate script. And what we're going to do is we're just going to copy some of the code we've already created and just change what needs to be changed. So I'm going to copy the public game object at the top, the array. And we need to give this a different naming so let's give this another name of underscore position cubes. And of course, remembering to change that in the comments. And then we'll come to the awake function. And we're going to copy this first line where we find all the game objects with tag of reference. Let's paste that in at the bottom of the function. And what we'll do is we'll just change out what needs to be changed. So obviously we want to use our new naming convention here at the beginning. So we're setting positions cubes to equal game object dot find game object with tag, and we're going to put in position. Now please be aware this is case sensitive, so as you can see I've used capital P here because I have done on the tag for the cubes. So just be aware of that fact. And of course the find game objects with tag should be the plural. So it should have an S, game objects. Otherwise it will only pick up one game object. We don't want that. We want to collect them all. And what we're going to do is come to this for loop here where we set the number and letters, set active to false. Let's just change this. The for loop I is less than 10. I'm just going to change that to 2 at the moment. I was going to have more things deactivated here, but we'll just set it to now. We have 3 in the scene. The alphabet, the numbers, and the Roman numerals. And remember, we always start at 0. So because we have 3, we have 0, 1, and 2. And once we've done that, let's copy that for loop. And again, we'll paste this at the bottom of the function, but we do need to change things quite a bit here. The first thing I'm going to do is change I to P. Because I just like to use different letters every time I do this. So we've got a less than 2, which we just changed to from previous one. This time we're going to change it to less than 100. We will need to change this value later, but for now we'll leave it at that. So we'll let's just grab the underscore position cubes naming convention. We'll paste that in here, the line below. So position cubes in brackets p dot set active false. Now we want the game objects to be active this time, but what we don't want is we don't want to actually render. So we want these to be invisible to the player once we actually start the game. So in order to do that, we need to first, let's just delete set active and false. So let's just tidy up the comments. I'll just leave that all game objects in array. Let's come to the line below and we'll continue completing this line. In fact, I'll begin here. I will put this on the same line. Actually, let's put game object with a lowercase g. We're going to say dot. And we want get component in children. We're going to open and close the brackets. Inside the brackets, we're going to get the component of renderer. We'll come to the end of the line. What we're going to do is we're going to open and close brackets again. We're going to say dot enabled equals false. Let's close that off. We'll break this down for commenting. So I'll enter after game object, and yeah, I'll enter after renderer. So let's move this comment back to this line. I'll make it for all game objects in array. Get the renderer component. And in the next line, and set to, you could put disabled, or you could put set to false. I'll leave that up to you. You can, either way is fine. I'll just get rid of that empty line. Let's save that off there. So we'll downsize that. We'll just let this recompile. And then we'll hit play, and hopefully all our cubes are now invisible to the player once we start the game. But if I come to level, we have all the rows. We'll open one up, and as you can see, all the cubes are still there. It's just that their mesh renderer is now disabled. And now these can act as a position, because remember we set them to is trigger in the box collider, so we can use some code now to use these cubes to tell if that position is filled within the grid. So let's just leave it there for this video. We'll pick this up in the very next lesson. We'll finish setting up the scene, and it should only take one more lesson, and then we can actually get on to coding some more functionality for the game. But we'll leave it there for now. As always, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope to see you next time. And until then, as always, bye for now.